Just spending 10 minutes on this real quick. This is what we got to look out for, y'all. I recently went and voted. Yep, I didn't want to mail in my ballot. I actually wanted to take it in, but I didn't have the time. So I sat with my absentee ballot for roughly 2 weeks because I had to do some more research on some people that I was not as familiar with as I am maybe on a national level or with my mayor or with my city council people or with the treasurer, right? And on my absentee ballot, we had a lot of different issues. We had issues with regards to millages being things that we need to fund, mainly the community college and mainly the schools that are in that particular area. We have these millages that we have to vote on that basically allows for you to put additional monies into these schools in order to ensure that it's a great environment for our children to learn and for people that decide that they want to go to community college, which I am a heavy supporter of. And so I had to research some other issues that were local, such as which judges that I wanted, which this person, that person, which treasurer, which regent that I wanted in the University of Michigan, which governor that I wanted at Wayne State University, which trustee that I wanted at Michigan State University, which trustees that I wanted to oversee the board and things like that. And so first and foremost, let me help y'all to understand something. You need to get involved with the political process, and anybody that says that they do not vote because it doesn't really matter is one of the most ignorant people that I've ever heard in my entire life. The fact that you are not even familiar with how your property taxes are going to raise based off of who you decide to elect. When they say, well, Anton, people need to take a basic civics course because it's not just about the president. I know. That's why you get to elect the Congress member to represent you that then argues on your behalf to make sure that they approve the budgets and then basically win things for you in your particular district. And you need to participate in the election process. When you vote, it's not just voting down ballot. It's not just voting Republican. It's not just voting Democrat. It's each individual person and issue you need to be familiar with as far as an issue. So the fact that we know more about Diddy and the Take That lyrics, the fact that we know every single thing about who the accusers are and who's saying this about Cassie, you know every 120 victims, but you don't know the 5 people that's going to be the judges that's being elected to the bench that then determines the fate of the people that is then arrested or who's on probation or what's going to happen. You don't know nothing about that. Did Diddy change your life? Did he help you? Did the stock of baby oil go up? What's going on? You know everything about every celebrity. I see more people that are filled in. Oh my God, 2K25 is coming out. We got to get our remote controls out. Football season is coming. Ah! Oh man, you know Kendrick Lamar, he submitted these songs in order to make sure he get to the Grammys. So you put all of your energy into things that don't even change your life. But when they say, hey, listen, this person is standing for this, of whether or not they want to remove ShotSpotter from your neighborhood or they're going to raise your property taxes, the things that actually affect the way that you live in, oh, that's boring, man. I don't want to know about that. Man, that don't mean nothing to me, man. It don't matter anyway. They going to do what they want to do because it ain't even up to us. That's a lazy person's excuse. A lazy person's excuse. And that's why they going to show up to a Glorilla concert or they going to show up when Meg Thee Stallion and Nicki Minaj pull up. But when it comes to the primary or off-season elections, don't nobody got nothing to say. Don't nobody vote and show up. You can go in and determine literally what happens in your community and what type of school your kids is going to go to, what type of funding is going to happen, but you have no interest in that. But y'all make sure that y'all in Tulum. You make sure you at Meg Thee Stallion's concert. Keep the same energy. I'm not telling you can't have fun, but I'm telling you to put an equal amount of energy into the things that's going to affect your real life versus the things that keep you distracted and entertaining you. Honestly, Puff is fun to talk about because it's just a funny thing to talk about. People get more upset at me on whether or not I believe Jaguar Wright as though I'm ever going to meet this funky chick ever in my entire life. They get mad at me of whether or not I'm gonna meet them, as though I care about what they think more than they actually care about what's gonna happen in their own very election that's happening in their backyard. I give an opinion on what's happening from an electoral college perspective, and they like, really don't matter. Okay, I got you. Hey, man, I don't believe Jaguar right. Oh, my God. Guess what? It doesn't matter whether we believe Jaguar. I can have an opinion. You can have an opinion. It's not going to change nothing. It means nothing. You know why? Because I don't have to worry about ever going into a party that I don't care about. Why do I care? Jaguar right. Election interference. No big deal. No big deal. No big deal. Funding that's going to go to my schools? No big deal. Then you're going to be sitting there, our books is all messed up. Oh, this is what's happening with Brandon Johnson. We're going to bring Brandon Johnson to the front of the congregation tomorrow. I heard this whole school district is quitting on him. And he's supposed to be a former teacher. But this is what's happening over in Michigan. Election fraud. People are starting to be charged with election fraud.
And we begin with those stunning double voting charges impacting faith in our election process with just 31 days to go until the presidential election. Thank you for joining us this Friday. I'm Glenda Lewis.
And I'm Simon Shakett. The state attorney general telling me this appears isolated but involved more than half a dozen people. We're talking about 7 people charged, 4 voters, 3 election workers, and it all stems from alleged incidents in St. Clair Shores. Now I'm learning more about how this allegedly unfolded and the penalties those voters and election workers face.
One person, one vote.
That's the message from Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel on the heels of filing felony charges against 7 people she says played a key role in illegal voting. She says it happened during the last primary for voters.
Yes, this is in Michigan. This is my state. This is in Michigan, and that's why I'm bringing it to the forefront of the congregation, because it's meaningful to me.
And 3 election workers knowingly allowing votes to be counted twice in St. Clair Shores.
These assistant clerks are not the volunteer election workers who greet you at the polls, but instead are municipal employees trained in election law and procedure.
At today's press conference, I asked the Attorney General,
Do you believe that the defendants were working together as part of a larger scheme?
We know that all 7 of these people committed crimes. In terms of whether this was a pattern or a scheme that they were working together, we don't have evidence to suggest that.
Facing felonies, she says Frank Prezzato, Stacey Kramer, Douglas Kempkins Jr., and Geneva O'Day all voted absentee and in person. And workers Patricia Gacciardo, Emily McClintock, and Molly Brazier falsified returns or records. On the streets, other voters responding.
I almost have no confidence at all, and it's just based on what I'm seeing on the news and what I'm hearing.
It's supposed to be fair. Not everybody is fair, but it's supposed to be.
That's what everybody say when they get caught. Oh, it was only this one time. It's not gonna happen no more, you know. Makes you wonder how often has it happened? And then on top of that, who are these people that's doing it?
Today, the AG also calling out the Macomb County prosecutor for not filing charges and more.
Prosecutor Lucido didn't just deny charges. He was very explicit as to why he was denying charges. And I was just deeply disturbed by some of the comments he made. First of all, he indicated that only one vote counted. And we know that that's just factually wrong.
In response, Prosecutor Pete Lucido telling us, quote, I respect the Attorney General's jurisdiction and investigatory resources. It is not unusual for the AG to charge criminal cases in which a local prosecutor did not. I expect justice will be served. I have no further comment on this ongoing case.
Those defendants face up to 4 to 5 years behind bars if convicted, and I've reached out to them for comment. One I spoke with telling me he never intended to break the law, but simply lost track of his original absentee vote when he came to the polls. Glenda?
So you have 2 prosecutors seeing this case very differently. Why is that?
Yeah, this comes down to intent. Really, the Macomb County prosecutor is saying he looked at this and didn't see desire to break the law and intent to do so, whereas the Attorney General has looked at this and said, no, she in fact believes they knew what they were doing and they did in fact break the law. So we'll see.
Let me tell you something. We have to be vigilant. I don't care what side of the aisle you on. We got to be vigilant, because I believe that election interference is happening at an unprecedented level and even on a local level. We got to be vigilant, because I you have to have trust in the election process in order for it to work. If people don't have trust in the election process, and if election workers or poll workers or people like that are impacting or influencing how the election is turning out, that is an absolute positively no-no. Again, I don't care what side of the aisle you on, and especially if it's happening in my state. I believe that there is election fraud that happened in 2020. I believe that there is an attempt to impact what is going on with this election this year. And so we got to be vigilant. And I think that there has to be severe penalties for people that do it, especially those that have been entrusted and trained to do it the right way. So we got to be careful, y'all. Just make sure. Just make sure, because I don't trust it. They keep telling me it's okay. I don't believe it. And you could sell it to me however you want to, but I think that there's election fraud that's happening all over. And I think that one of the ways in which they're going to do it is these immigrants. But that's just my own personal belief.